Hello everyone, I'm Laura Bharat, a tropical Vedic astrologer and Cards of Truth reader, and if you're interested in any of those services, please visit my website at laurabharatastrologer.com. Okay, so today I'm talking about the indications of the Hora chart. It's a divisional chart, or as is known as a Varga, and they use it in the Western astrology system as well. And what it means is it corresponds to the second house, which is the house of wealth, prosperity, accomplishment, success. And the actual Sanskrit word for the Hora chart is sampat, which means those things: success and accomplishment and prosperity. And you look at this chart to ascertain whether someone is happy in their success and manages their resources well, and is satisfied with the things that they get in life and the possessions, the wealth that they have in life. It is not the chart of massive wealth or throwaway wealth where you you buy a yacht or a second home, a ski chalet, whatever it is. It's not that kind of wealth. That's not what it means. That's another Varga, and I will do a video on that coming up soon here in a couple of days. But the Hora chart is the chart of our responsibilities, and a lot of those responsibilities revolve around our family, which is an indication of the second house. So it is a Varga of the second house. And there are, the way you calculate it, it's extremely easy. Okay, all you do is, if a planet is from 0 to 15 degrees, then that planet remains in its sign that it was in the Rashi. If a planet is from 15 degrees to 30 degrees of a sign, it goes to the opposite sign, okay? And that's it. That's how you calculate the Hora chart. Now, what's important in the Hora chart is whether a planet is ruled by the sun or the moon. The deities of the Hora chart are the sun and the moon, or Indu and Surya, or Atma and Manas, okay? The soul and the mind, being the soul for the sun, the mind for the moon. And that's a little different. How you see that in the chart, like if you're looking at your birth chart or your Rashi chart, you see whether a planet is in the first 15 degrees of a sign. And if it's in the first 15 degrees of a feminine sign, meaning an even sign, or an earth or water sign, that planet is ruled by the moon, okay? If a planet is in the first 15 degrees of a masculine sign, that planet is ruled by the sun. And if it's from 15 to 30 degrees in a masculine sign, then that planet is ruled by the moon. And in a feminine sign from 15 to 30 degrees, that planet is ruled by the sun. Okay, and the actual sentence, or the sutra from Parashara, is sun, moon, odd Rashi, even reversed. Okay, so it's basically you're cutting the sign in half, and depending on whether it's a masculine or feminine sign, it is ruled by the sun or the moon. Okay, now, with this chart, the most important planet is the moon, because that's the second planet. It's number 2, corresponding to the second Varga in the second house. And this, the moon is feeling good. It's a planet, it's a very worldly planet. The moon revolves around the earth, and the moon is our sense mind. The moon is how we perceive all of the phenomena around us and how we react to that. It's basically how we interact with everything in the world on this earth. It's not meditating, it's not dreaming, it's not entering a different state of consciousness and trying to elevate your consciousness. It's interacting with all of phenomena, and the moon is the actual planet we use in the Vedic system anyway to ascertain whether a couple is a good match, whether you have a good compatibility or not, because we use our moon to interact with people. We use our moon sign, our moon's nakshatra, any yogas with the moon, any planets with the moon. That really has a lot to say about who we are. So the moon is a very important planet, or the most important planet of this chart. It is the Karaka of this chart. And it shows whether a person feels good about the resources they have, whether they feel satisfied with what they get in life and what they go after in life, whether they feel satisfied in their home environment. The second house is also our environment. And so it's really important to look at that moon in the Hora chart to see its dignity and the house placement, the house it rules, all of those things. Okay, so a nice moon goes a long way in helping with our happiness and helping us to feel good about where we are in life and where we live, our environment, our home, our family, all of those really important things. Secondarily, Jupiter is an important planet in this chart as well. Jupiter is wealth and all of our possessions, all of the money in the bank, all of our assets. So to see whether a person manages those things well and has enough of those things in their life so that they can live and prosper, it's important to look at Jupiter in this chart too. You want to look at its dignity and any house cusps it's conjoined, the house or the sign from the ascendant, and if it's with good planets in the same Rashi. In the same Rashi, it's called Yuti or conjoined. And we don't use the planetary aspects in the Vargas, you use the Rashi aspects. But if there's a planet in the same sign, that's going to have an influence on Jupiter or the moon or whatever planets are conjoined in the same sign. Okay? And another thing, an interesting trait about this Varga, about this divisional chart, is you want to have planets, masculine planets, in the Hora of the sun. Okay, so ideally, you want to have the Jupiter, Mars, and the sun in the Hora of the sun, or if to figure that out, if you're looking at your birth chart, you want to have those masculine planets in the first 15 degrees of a masculine sign or the last 15 degrees of a feminine sign. Okay, and the reason that is because masculine planets, they're doers. They're initiators. They want to go out and do things. Okay, they don't feel right receiving. They want to feel good about what they do rather than who they are. And when masculine planets end up in the moon's Hora, it can reduce the satisfaction of those masculine planets quite a bit. Meaning, if you use those planets like you use Mars, your willpower, you use your command to go out and get what you want. When the sun likes to rule over things, the sun is the king, right? The sun likes to delegate and shine and be the ruler. And when he's in a feminine sign, that sun energy is thwarted a little bit. So the person, when they do go out and take initiative and do things like the masculine planets like to do, then the satisfaction they get from that is reduced because sometimes they don't get what they want or what they're striving for, or they get something completely different than what they're striving for. Okay, and this of course is tempered with the rest of the chart, but generally speaking, this shows whether those masculine or feminine planets have that extra support from being in the sun's Hora or the moon's Hora. Excuse me. Okay, so now the feminine planets. The feminine planets are Venus, Moon, Venus, Moon, and then the neuter planet of Mercury does well in both. So Mercury can do well in either the Sun's Hora or the Moon's Hora. And Saturn is a neutral planet, but he likes to be in feminine signs, or in the Moon's Hora. Okay, so when you look at Moon, Venus, and Saturn, see whether they are in the last 15 degrees of a masculine sign or the first 15 degrees of a feminine sign. And those, when they're ruled by the Moon's Hora, they are able to receive, and or they enjoy receiving. They enjoy being recognized for who they are and not doing and going out and initiating things. They like receiving things, and they feel more comfortable that way. If they are in the Sun's Hora, then they don't feel as satisfied because they have to perform. They have to go out and do something, which is contrary to their natural energy. And so it's interesting too, the deities, okay, of the Sun and Moon's Hora. The Moon's Hora, if planets are in the Moon's Hora, they're actually ruled by the ancestors or our ancestral karmas. In the Sun's Hora, they're ruled by the devas or the gods. And so when a planet is in the Sun's Hora, ruled by the devas, it gives more worldly responsibilities. It gives responsibilities out in the world beyond just our family and our environment, our home, our possessions, second house kind of things. And so these responsibilities require a certain sacrifice. And masculine planets are easily able to sacrifice, especially the Sun. The Sun is the great sacrificer because he is the king, okay? Now, the feminine planets, the Moon's Hora is ruled by the ancestors. And the ancestors give us responsibilities revolving around our family life, our home life. And these are responsibilities that we feel close to. We naturally feel close to these responsibilities because they're part of our environment. Like your immediate family, your pets, your home, your garden, everything, the land you own or you live upon, those are all responsibilities you have that are close to you, that you wake up with every day and go to sleep with every night. And so because they're given by the ancestors, these responsibilities we feel love towards, considering all the other things in the chart, how much you feel attachment or love or not, and you want to care for these things. And the feminine planets obviously work a lot better with that. They feel natural to that. They don't want to go out and do. They want to stay in and enjoy their environment and take care of that environment. And so that's how the Hora works with the planets. The most important houses of the Hora chart are the second house, of course, naturally. The third house, because the third is the second from the second, like Bhavat Bhavam. And then, so the third house has secondary connotations of the second house. And then the fourth house, because 2 squared is 4. And so that becomes a very important house as well. And the fourth house, of course, is our home and our mother and our emotional state. So the two of those really kind of go together. So when you want to see how satisfied someone is with their home life, their environment, if you want to see how well the person manages their resources and how satisfied they are what they have in life, all of their possessions and assets, you look at the Hora chart, you look at these planets, especially the moon, secondarily Jupiter, and you look at those houses, the second, third, and fourth house. And that's going to tell you a lot about someone right off the bat, okay? And the thing is with the Hora, if you ever meet people who are always kind of complaining about where they live and they don't like their home and they just can't stand their family and they're just really unhappy about where they are, but when they go move somewhere else, they're complaining about that. They're just really never happy with where they are. And then they have all of these possessions, they have all of these assets, but they don't use them wisely. They just pile up. Possessions pile up, like hoarders, people who hoard things, or they have all of these animals pooping and peeing all over the house, and they just won't take care of them. And that is an example of someone who has a really bad, for lack of a better word, Hora chart, okay, with a really trashed moon, very challenging second house, fourth house, third house in that Hora chart, and a lot of planets, like all the planets in feminine sign, or all the planets in the moon's Hora, all the masculine planets in the moon's Hora, and all of the feminine planets and the sun's Hora. That's an example of these types of people, okay? But if you meet someone who really enjoys their home life and discusses it and talks about it a lot, and just really likes, knows how to take care of their responsibilities, and uses all of their possessions really wisely, their possessions get actual use, that's somebody who has a really nice Hora, a really fantastic Hora, to be honest, okay? Okay, so that's all I wanted to say about the Hora, I think. Let's see. Yep, that's it. And so, I'll be doing the rest of the Vargas. This is a series. And the next one will be the Drekana, which Western astrologers also use quite frequently. So if you're a Western astrologer, please tune in. And so thank you for watching. Bye.